Thanks for joining us on another episode of The Grind. Here's your host, JB.
Go.
Am I good to roll?
Yes, you are.
All right. Well, thank you very much, Pierre. Tonight we have a more recent graduate of App State. And here's a little bit about his wrestling career. So he wrestled at App from 2015 to 2019. Before at App, he was a 4-year letter winner in cross country at St. Joseph Regional High School in New Jersey. He had a career wrestling high school record of 129 and 24, earning All-American honors his sophomore and senior year at Virginia Beach Nationals. While at App, during his freshman year, he was a starter right out of the gate and finished the year 18-14 overall with a 9-7 dual record. He had key wins, including victories against Indiana, West Virginia, and NC State, also going 2-2 at his first SoCon championship appearance. His sophomore year, he had a 28-10 record at 149 pounds, including a SoCon championship title his second year as a starter, automatically qualifying him for the NCAA championships, where he went 2-2. He was an NWCA Division I Scholar All-American. He had 3 key dual wins against Power 5 opponents that year. And in the summer of 2017, during his sophomore year, he won 3 of his 5 matches and placed 4th in the 70-kilogram division of the U23 World Team Trials in Minnesota. During his junior year, he redshirted and wrestled unattached when competing. He went 21-6 while taking first place at 157-pound weight class at the National Collegiate Open in Dover, Delaware. He also took second place at the App Open that year and third at the Hockey Open. His redshirt junior year, he was an NCAA championship qualifier with an at-large bid, who finished the season with a 26-15 record. Again, he was an NWCA Division I All-American. He competed early in the season at 157 pounds before returning to the 149-pound weight class. He had a third-place finish at the Southern Conference Championships in Boone that year and an 8th-place finish at the very prestigious Southern Scuffle in Chattanooga, Tennessee. His redshirt senior year, his last year competing, he finished 28-7 at the 157-pound weight class with another SoCon championship title under his belt. He recorded his number 100th win in his final match of his career. He was seeded 24th for the NCAA championships that were canceled due to the coronavirus pandemic. He was ranked as a top 25 wrestler following the conference championship weekend and finished the season with 16 wins of his last 17 matches. So overall, 2-time SoCon champ, he went 146 to finish number 6th on App State's career win list. 3-time NCAA qualifier, 2-time NWCA All-American. Welcome to Beyond the Mat with Matt Zovistoski, also known as Zov. What's up, Zov? I think that might be my nickname because I couldn't pronounce your last name the first year you came here.
Maybe. That's seems to be a pretty common thing with my last name, though.
Yeah. Well, hey, man, we appreciate you being on tonight. Can't thank you enough for giving up your Monday evening to be with us. And we will get right into it with our first question here. And it's the first one I usually ask every episode. So how did you get started in the sport of wrestling? Give us that insight.
Well, I used from a young age, I used to do martial arts and a lot of grappling. So, that was always my draw to wrestling. But I really didn't know what wrestling was until one day after school, my dad was like, we were going to wrestling practice. And I was like, okay. And that's how it all started. So I got in a little bit later than a lot of people. I think I was around 5th grade.
When you first started wrestling was 5th grade?
something like that.
So just starting middle school is kind of when you got into the sport.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well then, so then walk us through the beginning of your high school career. Let's go year by year. Freshman year, sophomore, junior, senior. How did your high school career end up? Give us some insight year by year.
So my freshman year, just coming in, I was 132 pounds. Starting right away, kind of got thrown into the fire a little bit. got my butt whooped a little bit, and ended up having a pretty decent year. I got second in the districts and fourth in the regions, which means I didn't qualify for states in New Jersey, which was disappointing, but a solid start. My next 3 years, I won the region, so I went to state, but all 3 years I ended up placing only making it to the blood round of the New Jersey States. So I actually never got a state medal in high school.
Never had a state medal in high school.
No, so had a kind of started with less credentials than a lot of my peers going into college.
And I do remember that. So give us give us some more insight on high school wrestling in the state of New Jersey. I mean, you were a very successful wrestler in college. I mean, you were beating guys that in college that you had no right beating because of your, I guess, high school pedigree. But give us some insight on how tough the state of New Jersey was.
I mean, it's the real deal. New Jersey is one division state tournament, so the entire state wrestles in the same high school state tournament. So it's all the best guys and some really tough people just around my area that I had to wrestle every year. So it really humbled me a little bit.
So you're saying that there's only one state champion per weight class?
In New Jersey, yes.
Whereas multiple other states have, 3, 4, 5 state champions per weight class. New Jersey's just one. Correct. Awesome. Yeah. There's no hiding that secret that New Jersey is a powerhouse state when it comes to wrestling. So, did you wrestle in any clubs in high school or attend any wrestling camps?
Yeah. So I kind of bounced around. The main 2 clubs that I wrestled was with Apex Wrestling Club and Iron Horse Wrestling Club. I believe Iron Horse isn't around anymore, but Apex still is. A lot of good partners that really going there really helped me develop as a wrestler and taught me a lot of what I know. I was able to wrestle on their dual teams. I kind of bounced around from team to team depending on who had an opening for me.
And did you go? What kind of national tournaments outside of Virginia Beach did you travel to? Any other national tournaments in high school?
That was the main one. I never ended up going to Flo or Fargo. I actually didn't qualify for either of them, but
which makes sense. You do have to have you got to be a state placer to qualify for some of those, or a state champion.
Yes.
Awesome. So let's move on from high school to college then. So describe your freshman year. So right out of the gate, you were a starter for App State. So describe that coming from high school to college, what it was like transitioning from competing against, high school kids to competing against college men.
I mean, it's night and day. It's like college wrestling is definitely a whole nother level compared to high school.
Yeah.
And especially going right into the lineup straight out of high school, it was really tough. I took a lot of beatings that year. It's all the best. College is all the best matches you have in high school, but that's every single one.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a true statement by far. Yeah.
But really that 1 year was huge for helping me transition. I think that's probably the year that I was able to jump the most levels and improve the most, just because of, I feel like you learn more taking losses than you do winning all the time. So
Yeah, nope, for sure. And your work ethic too, man. I mean, I was in the room with you that year as well, and your work ethic. I mean, that sure as heck helped you out as well. So then move on to your sophomore year. You started again, right,
yeah.
in the starting lineup. Talk us through sophomore year. How'd that go?
So sophomore year was a little bit more of my breakout year. So I would say I was the first time I was breaking the rankings, even though, as Bentley would say, you're not supposed to really pay much attention to those.
Yep.
And I was able to have some decent success, and it really, as you said, like all those like staying motivated and working really hard throughout the last year really started showing.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. And again, for those that are listening or tuning in, we're talking with Matt Zovistoski. Go ahead and share this video, whatever platforms you're looking on. As we always ask, try and reach as many people as we can. For those that are Patreons, we got a Zoom link after this video where you can have a individual interaction with Matt. So check your inbox for that Zoom link. But we'll get back to it. We'll move on. So after your sophomore year was your junior year, Matt, and I think you redshirted that year. So talk us through that. I know for me personally, my redshirt year is my freshman year, and to just think of how it would be in the middle of my career, I don't know how that would go. I really don't know how that transition would be. So talk us through how you go from competing to redshirting and then back to competing.
Yeah, so as you said, I feel like most people take their freshman year as their redshirt year and kind of like ease into the college wrestling.
Mm-hmm.
But after my my first 2 years, I really wasn't expecting the redshirt. I was just planning to do my 4 years. But after my sophomore year, the coaches, Coach Bentley, Coach Rosa, and Coach LeBlanc all took me into their office and like sat me down and really like discussed with me like how like much they saw I was improving and how they think an extra year to help develop me would really be better for me in the long run.
Yeah.
And that really got me thinking, and we kind of all decided to like take that year to just kind of like work on getting better. And that's the year they were able to take me to places like the World Team Trials up in Minnesota. So I got to do some extra experiences like that and just go to a bunch of tournaments and work on getting better that whole year.
So that year that you were redshirting, I mean, was that a pretty useful year, a successful year in getting better and really taking that next step in your wrestling style to get better?
I think so. I think it did help me.
Yeah. Well, that's good. And I mean, I think it was, when I look back at it, I mean, I think it was a great call because, I mean, freshman, sophomore year, I mean, you were in the lineup and then you're beating college guys right out of the gate, really helping the team win SoCon titles, win SoCon titles for yourself. So, yeah, I think that was a great call. So then let's move on to post redshirt year. So now it's your junior redshirt year. You got 2 years left. Talk us through your redshirt junior year.
Right. So I think, as you said, beginning of my redshirt junior year, I was kind of like in between 57 and 49, kind of trying to like ease my way back down into the 49-pound weight class. So that's kind of where it started getting the weight cut and whatnot started getting a little more wearing on me. So I think I was still able to like use my success in my past few years to still like continue to compete and like improve. But I think that weight cut that year kind of like dragged me down a little bit, and I was still successful, but I still qualified for the NCAAs. But I feel like that was a little more hard on me, especially later in the season.
Yeah.
As well, I guess we're gonna get into it, but I
Go
was
right
the
to it,
next year I
man.
ended up 157.
Yeah. So you went 157, and that's probably where, I mean, you looked the best and probably felt the best at the next weight class, and especially in your last year. So just run us through the last year, man, and give us the rundown on that.
Yeah, my last year was really enjoyed my last year. Growing 57 just took that extra burden of having to worry about making 49 off of me and focus on wrestling and how much I love wrestling and getting better. So I really think that helped me this past year. And I think it was probably my most successful year. I finished it with my second SoCon title, and it did end rather disappointing for me as the national tournament ended up getting canceled, which isn't the way I was hoping to end my career, because I really felt like I would have really been able to show how much I improved from the years before at that tournament. But it is what it is.
Yeah, and we'll get into that, and especially what was running through your mind during that time. I couldn't imagine, and not just wrestlers at App, but every wrestler in the country, that busts their tail to get to that NCAA championship tournament, to be an All-American national champ. I couldn't imagine what was going through their mind when they finally got that news. But we will definitely get to that question. We just had a comment in the live chat from a Christian Beach. He's always chiming in when he knows somebody here. Seems like he's got nothing to do Monday nights, but he said, "Let's go, Matty Z, Mister. You can't stop me." So I think Beach is tuned in and is watching as usual. So then let's move on here. All right. Describe your wrestling style. Give us your style. I think I could describe your style. Let me hear you describe it, and then I'll chime in if I think there's anything I should add. But go ahead. Let us hear your style.
All right. Well, I would say the main aspect of my wrestling style is just relentlessness, like wrestling, whistle to whistle, keep moving, keep attacking, just eventually wearing my opponents out into the point where I'd be able to start scoring. Yeah.
No, and I know, and that is your style. I completely agree with that. And that is why I think you were so successful coming out of high school to college, to where you don't have a state championship in high school, to where that's that's the big accomplishment as a high school wrestler. And then coming to college and you're beating college guys right off the bat, and it's because you just do not stop wrestling and you keep attacking and keep going. I thought that was your best trait throughout your whole career. Yeah. And even when I was wrestling you in the room, that's just a pace that you just do not, you don't want to run into that in a wrestler. Someone that just does not stop wrestling. That is just frustrating,
Conditioning and perseverance are two traits that can really take you a long way in the sport of wrestling. I would vouch for that 100%.
Yes, it is. Trying to read another comment here in our chat. We'll maybe get to it later when I got more. He wrote a paragraph. I don't know what the heck he's doing, but let's move on to the next question. So yeah, your style is nonstop. You're always going, even if you're tired. You're still moving forward. So talk us through your I forget what year it was, sophomore, junior year. You dropped a weight class in the season. Talk us through that transition. Talk us through what was going through your mind with the weight cut and why you made the decision and so on and so forth. And just give us a brief detail on that.
Yeah. So right there around my redshirt year, coming back my redshirt junior year, I kind of wrestled a little bit 57 and 49 during my redshirt year, so I wasn't sure where I would continue on going into my redshirt junior year. But the coach Bentley really thought I would do better, and the coach really needed me at 49, so I wanted to make sure that I was able to get there for my team, and I really thought it would be good for me as well to be able to compete at that weight class, and hopefully I'll be able to reach my goals. But yeah, weight cutting is just an inevitable part of wrestling, and it's really really draining, and I think kind of the least fun part of the sport. And then going up my senior year, it like taking away that aspect really brought me back to how much I really loved the sport and getting better all the time.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. And let's just we'll keep on the subject of weight cutting here just for a little bit. What when you reflect back at your career and you think of all the, the weight cutting and the weight cutting, it's part of the sport. It's like putting on a football helmet, right? It's just something you got to do. How do you think that section of wrestling has prepared you for life beyond college wrestling?
I mean, definitely like discipline. Having to go get that extra workout when you're tired, or having to eat that salad instead of that cheeseburger. Just being disciplined and doing what you really need to do that's better for you in the long run.
Yeah, for sure. No, for sure. I can't agree with you more on that comment than anything.
Mm-hmm.
What did you suffer any injuries while you were wrestling? Anything that kind of you had to push through to keep staying in the lineups, or?
I mean, I had like the soreness and wear and tear that any college wrestler will come across wrestling in college for 5 years, but I was very fortunate in not having any like real major injuries that really jeopardized my time there.
So then, what is probably, when you look back at your career, when it comes to the subject of adversity, right? And we've heard the word adversity 1,000 times, whether it's quote of the day in the middle of practice or whatnot. What's some adversity you went through that you had to push through to get yourself mentally back on top and prepared for the next week, the next match, tournament, so on and so forth?
I mean, yeah, just right in the middle of my career, I was taking some losses. I think I lost. I think I went 0-2 at the Southern Scuffle my redshirt year. Like my worst performance, I would say, of my entire time going there. And like that was really like kind of like it hurt me. Like I know like I wasn't living up to my potential and doing everything that I can. So like kind of like as a little kick I needed to like get back on track and like really start focusing on what are my goals and what I need to do to try to like achieve those.
Right. Yeah, definitely. No, that's awesome. That's awesome. So your last year of competing was your 2019-2020 season, and you couldn't attend the NCAAs due to all the COVID that's going on. Talk us through that. I mean, this is something that even I personally want to know. What was that like? What were you doing? What were you and all the other qualifiers doing when you found out that, hey, sorry, the NCAAs is canceled, you can't compete in it? Give us the behind the scenes on that.
Yeah, so after SoCon, we were like, I think it was even during spring break, we were doing our getting ready for nationals, training just as hard to like go up there and compete. I think we were actually like just getting done with one of our workouts, lifting with Coach Stork, when Coach Bentley came in when like the message just got released. And it was kind of like a slap in the face. I mean, like at that time, I had no idea how serious this COVID pandemic was going to be, or really expected that it was really going to cancel the NCAA tournament. Like I didn't even think that would have been possible, but it was shocking and like really devastating because that's like the pinnacle of the wrestling season. Like that's what you're working for all year, that tournament. So it was really disappointing, especially since it was my last chance to compete there my senior year. And I really thought I would have done well if I had gotten the chance to. But looking back, it is what it is. I'm still disappointed about it, but can't dwell on it.
Yeah, got to move forward. But Yeah, man, I couldn't fathom what that would. I can't even put myself in your shoes and think about that because I mean the amount of work that goes towards getting to that tournament alone. I mean, very few people know about that, you know. So yeah, that when I heard about that and that was the case with the NCAA tournament, I couldn't believe it. But yeah, appreciate you sharing that with us. We'll move on past the low points here though. Let's go on to some coaches. So what coach did you spend the most time doing individuals with?
Um, I mean, I really did spend a lot of time with all of our coaching staff. We had some really great coaches in my time at Coach Bentley, Coach Rosa, Coach LeBlanc, you.
Oh, thanks,
But
man.
I would say I probably did my most individuals with Coach Rosa. He really kind of was his first year was my first year at App, and we kind of hit it off right away. He did a lot of individuals with me. He had a somewhat similar style to me. He wrestled the same weight class as me at the time, and then he was the coach that went with me to World Teams trials up in Minnesota. So we had.
Yep.
So I would say probably with Coach Rosa.
Awesome. If you had to get in a vehicle with one of the coaches, who would you not get in a vehicle with? Coach Rosa, Coach LeBlanc, or Coach Bentley?
That's a tough question, but you got to go with Coach LeBlanc. Record does not speak well for him
uh,
on road trips.
man, I hope he's tuning in right now. Anyway, so we had another former wrestler chime in, Miller Clark,
Oh.
and he said he's got a couple questions for you. So you're balancing a cellular molecular biology degree at the time, and he wants to know what your favorite element on the periodic table is and why.
Interesting question there. I would go with carbon because carbon. It's the main element in all organic compounds. Not going to be too much of a nerd right now.
I think that's a great response. I've got a bike that's made out of carbon, so carbon fiber. But yeah, okay, that works. And then he's asking another question I don't really understand, but then he asked one more. How do you keep the flow looking so good? I'm guessing he's referring to your hair.
I think so. A lot of effort going in up here.
Yeah.
But,
Yeah, I know Miller Clark's hair really had no effort at all. It looked the same for the past 6 years he was at App. So, all right, well, let's move on then. Miller, we appreciate you chiming in. If anybody else has questions, put them in the chat. We'll get to them eventually. Share the video. Please share the video on your Facebooks, your Instagrams, Twitters, wherever you're watching from. And then lastly, if you are a Patreon, join us in the Zoom link that you received in your inbox so you can directly interact with Matt. But we will go ahead and move on. Matt, what is your favorite tournament trip you enjoyed most? I usually ask outside of the NCAAs, but if one of your trips is an NCAA tournament, go ahead and fill us in.
I mean, I see why you ask outside because just my first time going to the NCAAs is just all-inspiring experience. The atmosphere there, the amount of people, it's crazy and really motivating to really want to do your best there. So
Right.
And it's always in a great venue. My first time going there was just a great experience, I would say.
What location was your first appearance?
In St. Louis.
Yeah, you can't beat St. Louis. It is a great venue, great city for sure. So then outside of the NCAAs then, I know we had a couple annual trips we would always make, and sometimes we would do some one-off trips to, either California or elsewhere. What was another trip that you liked?
I don't know. This trip always stands out to me. I wouldn't say it would be my favorite, but it's definitely one of the most memorable. we were going, I think it was my sophomore year, we were driving up to SIUE in the middle of December, and we got caught in a snowstorm to where the roads were too icy for our bus to continue.
Oh, yeah.
Thus, we were stuck there until like 11 or 12 at night before we got to SIUE. And we still got our practice in once we got there. So
Yeah.
it was definitely very memorable. But we did really great that match, and I was proud of our team that whole trip.
What year was that?
I don't remember exactly, but I think it was my sophomore year. 2017, 18.
Huh. I remember that. Yeah, I remember that. That was yeah. We were stuck. The roads just iced over out of nowhere.
Yeah.
And then I think some salters came through, and even still, once it got time for us to start moving, the bus almost still didn't make it up this. It wasn't a big hill, but it was like a slight incline.
Yeah, we were
over.
Getting like stuck there for hours.
And then finished our workout the next morning. Yeah. Yeah, that was crazy. I do remember that. Yeah, I was exhausted. I wasn't even competing at the time. All right, so then talking about most memorable times, what individual match that you wrestled in sticks out to you in your head the most?
I mean, recently, my conference finals, my senior year, was very memorable to me. It was my last match.
Yeah.
My going out on a win was really nice. It was my 100th win, which was a plus. I didn't even know that was going to be at the time.
Heck yeah, man.
But like, it was just the pinnacle of like all like everything I've been working towards that time, all like into my last match.
Yeah. Nope. That's perfect. Yeah, your 100th win, your last match of your career, unfortunately, but.
Yes.
I mean, it is what it is, like you said. I mean, you're going out on a win. You're going out on a conference title win. So yeah, that's great. What's your most memorable duel? Your most memorable duel match with the team, with the boys?
I had a lot of great memorable duel matches with my team. I had one of the best teams ever, I would say. But one that you can't really beat is, I forget exactly what year it was. It might have been that same year, my sophomore year, but against Chattanooga, one of the biggest rivals. The match came right down to the end, and the score was tied. And we had to go so deep into the criteria to find the winner that no one actually knew until they've made the final announcement. And that kind of sealed our second SoCon title in a row. We ended up getting 4 in my time there. But super exciting, super thrilling to have with the boys.
Yeah, for sure. And feel free to correct me at any point, either during the live feed or when this is posted later. But I think it came down to the number of points scored in each match. So like the individual points, takedowns, reversals, escapes, those number of points, I think it came down to that. And I think it was pretty close too.
Yeah, it sounds right, but I know that we
it took a while to figure it out too. Yeah, I think. Don't quote me on that. Don't quote me on that. John Mark get mad at me or something. But
don't want that.
Okay, so we'll move on to your workout partners. So who'd you battle it out with the most in the room? Who would you say? I don't know. Who give us who you would, whenever you two would wrestle, it would always be a fight, and then just give us who the partner was you wanted to drill with the most, that you would always look forward to getting better with.
This is such a tough question because over the years I had so many great ones.
Yeah.
John, Will, Brad.
Name them all, man.
I know. Irvin. It's too many. I name everybody because my team has been so great. I wouldn't ask to be on a better team. It was.
Yeah, good team and great workout partners. I mean, it was. Yeah, I loved practice when it would get intense, especially watching you and John and Brad battle it out, and Irvin, you guys just scrapping about getting in fights. I loved it.
Yeah.
So what kind of moving outside of wrestling, outside of the practice room, outside of varsity gym, what's your fondest memory, favorite part about Boone? Forget wrestling. What did you do to kind of just waste time, maybe release your mind from the sport of wrestling, and give us some insight on Boone and what you liked about it.
I mean, Boone is an amazing place. I knew that right from my first visit there. You just fall in love with it immediately. Right in the mountains, it's beautiful. Outside of wrestling and school, which took up most of my time, but
Yeah.
just going to hiking, going to football games, going to Compression Falls.
Ah,
Very nice
nice.
place.
Heck yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. If people who don't know what Compression Falls is, it's a fun summer day. Put it at that.
Yeah.
Jump, slide off some falls, get some hiking in. Yep. And we talked about that, I think, in an episode with a few other guys. Austin Trotman, he loved that place. I think you might have even been there with him sometimes.
Thanks, maybe.
Yeah. So, favorite place you lived in Boone? Did you bounce around a lot? What was your favorite house, apartment, dorm? What was your favorite place that you lived while you were here?
So definitely my favorite place that I lived was my senior year. We had a house, six wrestlers all living in the same house. Me, Cody Russell, Bradley Irwin, Christian Beach, Kerry Miller, Tyree Washington, all in the same house. And it was in a great spot. And it was just awesome to be with the boys, everyone on the wrestling team have the same goals, like just being together all the time.
Heck yeah. Well said. Heck yeah. I can't agree with you more on that too. So what do you do now for work? Do you still get on the mat any too? Give us the rundown on that.
So right now I am working as a veterinary assistant, just until I start veterinary school this winter. I still get on the mat when I can. I work out with my brother a lot. He's a senior in high school right now. He's still competing and still love it. Still good.
So talk us through your career, your professional career that you want to get into. Are you still going to school? What are your plans? You said something about veterinarian. So let give us some insight on that as well.
So yeah, going to undergrad, I was biology major, but I was pre-vet, trying to work to get into veterinary school. So I was fortunate enough to be able to actually get accepted into a veterinary school, and
Awesome.
I start in this January, where I'll be going back to school, starting over, and working to become a veterinarian.
How many years will that take before you finish that program?
So I'm doing an accelerated program, so I'll be about 3.5 years.
Accelerate. So what is, if you weren't an accelerated program, how long would that take then?
4+.
Wow. Okay. And where is that again? Did you mention that before? Was I not listening?
I'm going to Ross University, which is in St. Kitts in the Caribbean.
Ah, okay. So
It could be worse.
it could be worse. I would say you'd be going on vacation, but I think veterinarian school is probably pretty extensive and not an easy program. But man, that going to the Caribbean. Okay, well that's awesome, man. That is awesome. I didn't know that. All right, so we'll move on here. This is kind of a question that'll make you think. What is one thing that you wish you would have known starting out your college career that you know now?
Ooh, that one is a thinker. Just like how quick it will go. Like, make the times last. Like, make every moment. Make the most out of every moment, because it really was a great ride going through App those 5 years, and I would do it again.
Yeah. I agree, man. That first year is a long first year, right? Getting used to the college scene, whether that's with academics, athletics, but then you blink an eye, and your senior year, your redshirt senior year is there in a heartbeat.
That's true.
And it does fly by. Yeah, well said. All right, so now we got some quick scuffle questions. I say let's scuffle.
All right.
Does that ring a bell, Matt?
Oh, it does.
Oh, I gotta get that guy's name before I get sued for taking his verbiage here. So these are just quick questions. All right, quick questions. We can have a discussion about them, or you can just answer them. You'll catch on. All right, first question: top, bottom, or neutral?
Neutral.
I knew you'd say that, and I agree.
Definitely.
Okay, breakfast or dinner?
Breakfast.
Howard's Knob twice, back to back.
We did
or
that.
Moving mats for camp.
Knob.
Knob twice, back to back.
I'll do it.
Okay, touche. Yeah, me too. McDonald's or Bojangles?
Bojangles.
Did you guys have a Bojangles in Jersey?
We did not.
So you got down here. All right, well, fill us in. Who took you to Bojangles first?
Oh, gosh, I don't even know if I remember. It must have been the summer before my freshman year.
Did we have meal vouchers there or something? And you had some.
We did. I can't remember what it was or what it was, but
yeah. Oh man, that's funny. Again, we're talking with Matt Zovistoski, aka Zov on the grind. Share the video, put questions in our comment box on the live feed. We'll get to them as best we can. For our Patreons, go ahead and check your inbox. We got a live Zoom link that will take place after this video where you can interact with Matt one-on-one. But we will go ahead and keep moving on with the scuffle questions. Next one is, would you rather do 6 a.m. preseason workouts or 6 a.m. postseason workouts?
6 a.m. either way is tough, but probably preseason.
Preseason?
Yeah.
Okay. Then Wednesday afternoon conditioning. So would you rather do the conditioning workouts on Wednesdays in preseason, or would you rather do the conditioning workouts Mondays and Fridays on the morning?
Wednesday, definitely.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Agreed. All right. Would you rather go through another session of wrestling camps or another wrestling season? So would you rather go end of June through July, the whole wrestling camps session, moving mats and so on, or a whole nother wrestling season?
Wrestling season, because wrestling season's the fun part of wrestling.
That's a good answer.
Yeah.
I feel like I need to take that question down, because if someone says wrestling camps,
yeah,
or maybe I'll leave it up. I might just leave it up. See what everybody says. Yeah. Would you rather do a 30-minute grind match, which is a grind match, or a 30-minute swim workout?
Grind match.
Touche.
Definitely.
All right. Coach Rosa, power hour.
Whew.
And he's pissed off. Okay. He's not happy today. So Coach Rosa, power hour, or a swim workout?
Oh.
I got to get more questions in here. I'm just.
I don't know. That one's a toss up. I guess it depends on the situation of the power hour.
Okay, give me the. I'll let you know what the situation is for this episode. What's this? What do you mean?
I mean, am I far from weight? Are we away? Are we home? Like, how hot's the room?
We're in our own wrestling room.
All right. I'll go power hour. The swim workouts, I don't know.
They are tough.
I mean, they were different, but they're tough.
I give credit to swimmers. I'll tell you right now, a swim workout, especially when we're doing sprints in the pool. Oh man.
Yeah, and I can't do my signature doggy style, so
Yeah. Do you have any memories that stick out while you're doing a swim workout throughout your career? Anything that sticks out?
um
Anything funny?
I don't know, just I don't know.
I'm trying to give you an in here, Matt. I'm trying to refresh your memory.
I don't know. I can't.
Touche. All right, we'll move on. We'll move on. All right, I just thought of this one. This one's not on my script here, so I'm just going to say it because it just popped in my head. Would you rather go through a Coach Rosa practice that lasts an hour or a Coach LeBlanc practice that lasts an hour?
Now, is it an hour or an hour?
That's part of the question, Matt.
Oh.
They say it's an hour.
All right.
Which one?
Geez, I don't know.
You got to give me an answer on this one.
I'll actually go LeBlanc this time.
All right, so you're going for a 2-hour practice. Got it.
Yeah.
Sounds good. Sounds good. Okay, what's your favorite memory from App Wrestling camps as a wrestling staff member? What's your favorite memory?
My favorite memory, App camp.
Here, let me refresh it. You either got. Go ahead. What?
Wait, what?
I was like, you either got, you can talk about the vouchers. You can talk about some interactions you had with some high school guys. You could talk about what we would do in between camps, if we had some time off. What's your favorite memory of app camps? I know they're a grind, and they're not the best memories. I'll say that. But when you look back at camps, what's the one thing you think about? Doesn't got to be a good memory. It could be a bad memory.
I don't know, just probably my first camp, really meeting everyone on the team for the first time. That was really great. Like some people that I would end up calling my best friends for the next few years. Was that your
senior year of high school coming into your freshman year of college?
Yeah.
So you then worked the camps while you were a senior in high school, basically, correct?
Well, I had already graduated high school, but I haven't started college.
You were an incoming freshman.
Yeah.
Yeah. Awesome. Yeah, no, that's great. That's a good little introduction to college wrestling. It's coming in, working camps, wrestling with your teammates, and yeah, no, that's good. Again, talking with Matt. We got about a few minutes left in this episode, so go ahead if you got any last second comments. Feel free to put them in the box. We'll get to them, even if you want to say hello. We got a few questions left, and again at the end for our Patreons, we're going to do that live Zoom link. So we'll get into it here with our last question, Matt.
All right.
What is one thing you hope people remember you for while wrestling at App?
One thing that I hope to be remembered for. So, my senior year, during our wrestling banquet, I got the All for App award, and that was I was really proud of that because being All for App, trying your hardest in every single part of it, every single match, every single practice, in the classroom, trying to represent your program as best as you can. I think that would be really good to be remembered by. Yeah,
and that couldn't be a good ending to this clip here. I mean, you did, whether you were on the mat, in the wrestling room, in the classroom. I mean, you're a great representative of the program, of the wrestling program, and I know all the coaches that were here and are still here would say that. So, no, great answer to that. Again, we can't thank you enough for coming on tonight. That pretty much wraps up this whole episode, Matt. Please, for everybody watching, if you're not already, become a Patreon of The Grind. Our site is live, and it will be put in the Facebook chat of this video. If you want to see the details, if you want to become a Patreon, these videos will eventually be available for those who are paying for this service. Again, if you are, that money goes directly back to the program and helping them with their everyday needs. So please become a Patreon. I am. A few other alum are, and we're trying to grow this. So again, follow us on all of our social media sites. Post us everywhere. Help us get the word out of what we're doing. We're trying to spread the word on App State Wrestling, on wrestling in general. So help us spread it out. If you enjoy what we're doing, just share everything that you see coming out of the Grind sites, and follow us at App State Grind. Matt, that's all we got for you, man. We appreciate it, really, and can't thank you enough. I'll give you the last words.
Thank you so much for having me on. Had a great time. Really great. Go Mountaineers.
Go Mountaineers. Appreciate it, Matt. Thank you.
This episode of The Grind is proudly sponsored by Mountaineer Works. Mountaineer Works, owned and operated by Appalachian State alum and athletics photographer Chad W. Mitchell. Chad designs and builds officially licensed, unique cornhole board sets, and today I give my all plaques that will surely rock your tailgate, party, backyard barbecue, office, or creative space. They're sculptured smooth in the wood lab, fire coated at over 3,000 degrees, and paint dyed in the Cornhole Conservatory to complement their one-of-a-kind grain, then App State branded. The best part is you choose from a set of pre-approved color layouts and App State logos to personally design your cornhole boards, and today I give my all plaque. Mix it up or match it up, you can't go wrong. Show your Mountaineer pride as these make solid gifts for deserving folks. Find Mountaineer Works on Facebook and Instagram to place your order or ask a question.
This has been a production by Yosef Media.